Hello everyone and welcome to a new video from Your Overwatch. We did actually have a different video planned for today, but Blizzard have decided to release a new February 7th PTR patch, which includes the much anticipated changes to Bastion. There is quite a lot to unpack here however, as they added a lot more at once this time, so I'll be going through some of the patch highlights to tell you what you need to know. One of the first things you need to know is about the new server browser. Effectively, this allows you to create your own custom rule set that isn't just simply pick the map, pick the game mode, all that kind of stuff, but in addition, it lets you set things like cooldowns and projectile speeds, and it even lets you make your server settings public so other people can play with you on those settings. This is actually an interesting idea as it's basically a huge expansion of the custom game archetype, but it should also make it easier for pro matches to set up correctly with different rules if a different rule set evolves later on, all that kind of good stuff. Next up is that Capture the Flag isn't going away. It even says in the notes that they're adding more maps to it. They did this because it was by far and away the most popular brawl. I have a sneaking suspicion that at some point in time we'll see CTF come to a competitive playlist, but definitely on the PTR first before live. So here's what you've all been waiting for, hero updates. Well, there's quite a few that are specific to a sensitivity for an ability. So the first one that we're going to deal with here is Ana, and it says new hero option Nano Boost sensitivity, allows players to adjust Nano Boost's targeting sensitivity. So that basically means you can set the sensitivity for how it auto selects what target you're going to nano. There's quite a few abilities like that. If we go down further in the list, I can show you very quickly that Mercy has one of those, although we'll get to her later. Sombra has one, Widowmaker has one, Zarya has one, Zenyatta has one. There's loads of heroes that got small adjustments like that let you set the sensitivity of the auto-targeting system, basically, is effectively what it does. Right, so the Bastion Rework. I know a lot of people have been waiting for this to see how they tune his kit, whether it would be like a complete rework or whether it would just be like slight adjustments, but it's actually quite significant. So in the first setup, when he's in his sentry mode, the deploy time has decreased from 1.5 seconds to 1 second. That means he gets in from robot mode into turret mode much quicker. The bullet spread has been increased by 50% though, so that means when you're shooting it won't be like a laser, it'll be more like a small cone, basically 50% bigger than it was at its minimum from before. The bullet spread is always at maximum, so it doesn't start off in a smaller zone and then get wider like it did previously, but now it just starts in that wider cone. The magazine size has been increased from 200 to 300, headshot damage multiplier has been removed. Now that's really interesting, which makes me think they see him as being used to destroy shields and all that kind of stuff, but not necessarily completely melting people off the face of the planet. So in his recon mode, or what I like to call robot mode, or Johnny 5 mode, bullet spread has decreased by 25%, so they've made that mode more accurate. So when he's standing up and he's just a robot, when he shoots he has less of a bloom on his shots, basically. And he's also had his ammo count upped from 20 to 25, that just means you can shoot longer without reloading. His self-repair has been tuned quite interestingly actually. Now you can use it while moving, so instead if you were in turret mode and you took damage and you ran around a corner to try and heal yourself, sort of like Roadhog, you now don't have to do that, you can do it while moving, so you can do it while running away. That's actually interesting. It's now bound to a different button. I don't know how much difference that makes when you can bind your own buttons, and it's no longer stopped by taking damage. That's actually really big. So they've also added a new resource meter, which I imagine functions quite similar to Torbjorn's scrap. So as you repair yourself it'll deplete, and when you're not using it it'll recharge, that kind of thing. His ultimate's also been slightly changed, so when he's in his tank mode he no longer gets a bonus armor, but he does get a new passive which is called Ironclad. So when he's in his sentry or tank, that means whether he's in his tank or his like literal gun mode, he takes 35% less damage. Just automatically, that's his passive. So basically their developer comments is saying that they wanted him to be stronger in recon mode, so robot mode. Basically they wanted him to be more ambidextrous, I don't know if that's the right word. They wanted him to be more versatile, although keeping sentry as a good option. So they think we should feel that he's stronger now because he's not just a one-trick pony. To summarize what I think of the Bastion changes, he now kind of feels like a rival to Soldier in my opinion. He has the same clip size, is hit scan, can heal himself in a much more efficient way than before, has a larger health pool to begin with, and some of that is armor. He also has access to much greater burst DPS in his turret form. This is quite exciting actually. I think we'll be seeing a lot more of him. I'm certainly going to be playing him more. With D.Va they changed her defense matrix. So basically when she puts up her defense matrix, projectiles that come out of someone's gun don't have a minimum travel distance before they're absorbed. So before you could actually get right up close to her and shoot with say a Roadhog, and it would actually travel a small distance before it was cancelled. So if you were right up next to her it would actually hit her. That's been changed so that it is a complete block on all incoming damage, which is actually a fair adjustment I would would say. This makes it much better for defending your teammates against projectiles, and they even mention Tracer's pulse bomb in there. So all you D.Va mains who are complaining about the nerfs, you've actually got a small buff here. Mei got quite a small change in that when she's in cryo freeze now, her teammates can actually target her, so that means like harmony orbs or something like that. She's no longer completely invulnerable to both sides. Now, we were going to make a video about Mercy today, asking whether she needed a buff. Well, actually one of the ideas that the community had talked about buffing her, has actually come true. So the biggest change is to her Resurrect. While performing Resurrection, Mercy now becomes temporarily invulnerable along with her allies being revived. So that means that when you res people, you won't die instantly as you tended to do before, and neither will the people that you res. So they're basically buffing Resurrect. There's a few other small changes, like Zenyatta can't be healed while Transcendence is active. I don't know why that was ever a thing anyway. And also you can adjust her sensitivity of her beam and her Guardian Angel, you know, when you fly to people. Those are some of the smaller technical sensitivity changes that I mentioned before. There's also an interesting change to the map Eichenwald. The second gate no longer closes after the payload passes through it. So if you remember, if you won Streets phase and the battering ram battered down the door, once you move the cart past it, the door would actually close. Now it won't do that. Instead, some rubble will appear in the damaged doorway that partially blocks the entrance. Basically, in their developers' comments, they talk about how closing the door actually made it really favourable to the defense, and they just kind of wanted to readjust that. Aside from some technical stuff and bug fixes, that's about it. There's actually quite a lot that's changed in this PTR, and obviously as we play it this week, we'll probably do a discussion video talking about all the changes and what we feel about the Bastion rework and all that kind of stuff, so look forward to that. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like. If you'd like us to talk about anything specific, please don't hesitate to leave a comment below. Also, if you'd like to see us tilt live for your enjoyment, please don't hesitate to check out our Twitch page, which is linked in the description below. And remember to follow the Your Overwatch Twitter, it's where you can find updates about new videos and streams. I've been Eddie the Chump, and until next time.